Ginger Rogers is the lady who they say did everything Fred Astaire did, only backwards and in high heels. She was told she wouldn't make it because her smile was too big. But that smile, combined with those dancing feet, won her roles in over 70 films throughout her career, which included an Academy Award. Ginger Rogers is a living legend. But her childhood was anything but easy. Her parents were separated before she was born, and before her first birthday, she was kidnapped by her father. Ginger was later rescued and raised by her mother, Leela, who remained her manager and closest friend throughout her career. Off-screen, she had romances with Hollywood's most powerful men, Howard Hughes, Jimmy Stewart, and Cary Grant, to name only a few. She was also married 5 times. Looking back at her life, Ginger Rogers says, "I can only say it's been a golden trip."
Ginger Rogers has written a book called Ginger My Story. I am proud to have her as our guest today to launch our 9th season. I am so excited I can't even stand it. Welcome, the living legend, Ginger Rogers.
Reception.
Sally, you're controlling yourself. You've got to do a television show. It is, we have just finished our 8th season, and this is our anniversary day, and we're going to go to lunch. Everyone's going to go to lunch. And I got up this morning knowing that I was going to see you, and I got to tell you, I don't know if I walked. I flew. Like that.
I flew from Chicago to get to you.
I know. Let me say something off the top. I listened to the tape that Ginger's made about her book, and I read the book. I had to listen to the tape because I had to hear her own words, but she didn't ask me to do this. I think she'll be kind of surprised. This is one of the best vacations you've ever had. Chip in. And the parallels, I guess everybody in the world kind of parallels something with you. My mother was a stage mother, and she lived with me till she passed on, and she handled all the things for me. So my husband
took over.
I know. Tell me about your... So I felt that. Tell me about your mom.
My mom was one of the greatest moms anybody ever had. She was just the greatest. She knew everything. She had intuition about everything, so she'd always say, this is the right move to make for this situation right now. And she'd say, a couple of times she didn't have much control over what, they were going to do to me at studios by the way of money and so on. She didn't have any control over it because an agent handled it. And I had many agents. 5 or 6, I think. So it was according to the intelligence of that person. My mother had to deal with them. She was very intuitive about what was the right thing to do at the right time. And so I listened to her, except when it came to falling in love. I never asked her. Isn't that the way it goes?
Did she try to tell you when you were falling in love whether the person was right or wrong?
Frankly, I don't remember that.
Your mother was separated, and it's absolutely fascinating to learn that we're going back to 1914 about.
Right.
And she went and got a job. She was a single parent, and she went out, she got a job, and when the baby was born, put it in a basket, took it to work, and what we think of today must have been really unusual in those days.
Yes, she wasn't going to leave it for a minute.
And not only that, but the father of the child came and kidnapped Ginger Rogers. So one of the first things that you say, somebody kidnapped Ginger Rogers, took her. How old were you?
I was just turning 1.
Took you away to another city on the train, and your mother had to go and kidnap you back?
Yep.
We hear these stories today, and yet that was then.
That was then, this is now.
Amazing, absolutely.
Well, she had a lot of courage. And she did things that I don't know whether I would have had the courage to do what she did. She got in a train and did all kinds of investigation, asking people if they'd seen a baby with a man and what the man looked like. She didn't know it was my father who'd done it. And so then my grandfather called and talked to her and said, you know, your mother-in-law, I called your mother-in-law to see where she was, and she was in Texas, a little town in Texas. So Mother said, that's it, that's where we're going. So she decided to take off for Ennis, Texas.
The story is absolutely incredible, including meeting an American Indian sleeping in his mother's teepee. What they should have done is throw out all the other scripts and just make a script of Ginger Rogers and her life. When did Mom pass on?
77.
Would that be the most traumatic experience?
Oh, it was a very, very unhappy circumstance for me because I lost my best friend. He was my best friend.
Mine too.
Yours too.
Yeah. I feel the same way. There's nothing been that traumatic for me ever. I've never quite recovered. You know?
Well, it's hard when you miss it. You love somebody so much all those years. And then you want to have everyone meet her and know her because, you know, in show business she was so maligned. They said she was like a gypsy to play. She was demanding, and she was not at all demanding.
That's that awful stereotype that a stage mother has to be that way, and they don't.
Yes, it's terrible,
isn't it? Ginger Rogers' mother was one of the supporters, the early supporters of Lucille Ball from I Love Lucy. How did that come about?
She was under contract to RKO. She was one of the contract players. And Mother had a studio theater that where all the people who were under contract, small, medium, or large, were invited to come and be in a play. Mother put on plays so the producers could see them and call on their work for their motion pictures. And so Mother said, you know, young lady, you could be a star if you work at it.
To Lucille Ball.
Lucille. And Lucille at that time was very temperamental. I remember one time she threw a coffee cup through a window into the makeup room. We tried it. I was in the makeup room when it landed, and I heard it crash, and I wondered what had happened, whether it exploded. And here it was. Her coffee cup, she was just angry because I guess there was somebody in the makeup chair, and she thought she should be in the makeup chair. I mean, I don't know if that's the fact or not, but that's the way it appeared.
But Mother handled it.
But Mother saw that she had that kind of potential to be a great comedian. And Mother gave her roles in her theater. And I said to Mother, why do you give her so many sides to learn? You give her too many. Why don't you just give her less? It's because she can do it.
One of the things that comes through that is so surprising and so shocking, at least to me, here we are in the 90s, and I don't think there's a lot of equal pay for equal work. But when Ginger Rogers was dancing with Fred Astaire, and they were making movies that should be a part of all of our history. Ginger was earning not only less than Fred Astaire, but less than who else that was in those movies?
Well, there were two wonderful actors.
It was Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers that brought in the crowd. And Edward Everett Horton is a wonderful actor, and so Victor Moore, a wonderful actor, but she earned less than all three of those men. And yet they came to see the glamorous Ginger Rogers. I don't know that things have changed, my dear.
I don't think so.
A heck of a lot.
No.
And women still love men. And when we come back, we'll talk about the men that Ginger made magic with in 10 unforgettable films.
The way you hold your knife, the way we dance till 3, the way you changed my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me.
For free tickets to the Sally Jessy Raphael Show, write Sally Jessy Raphael, Post Office Box 1400, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101.
Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire dancing together in the Barclays of Broadway, 1949. Now, you called your partnership with Fred a mixed blessing.
Certainly was. Because I look at blessings, that a blessing is two-sided. One is your side and one is my side.
Well, are you saying he wasn't a nice man? No. You're saying that he worked very hard.
He worked very hard and very devotedly to his work.
So was he tense? Did you call him?
No, he wasn't tense. He was, I think we all in our business occasionally get a little irritable. And he would get very drawn away by irritation.
He was an irritable person.
Yes.
He also didn't like mush. So you never see in any of these movies these big smooching scenes.
No, he didn't. His wife was against it. He would get. I can understand that. His wife and he would talk at home, and he'd come in and talk to the director and to the producers and say, "I will not do any kissing scenes in any film I make with any woman I work with." I don't think he would kiss Bravo.
Really? He said there was a point at which when you do these over and over again, and Fred Astaire was very into perfection, that you'd take off your shoes and they could be bloodied. They could actually have blood.
Yeah.
It always looks so easy on the screen.
Yes. Supposed to.
When did you dance with him for the last time? Do you know?
Well, when the number you just played, when I made the exit there by the curtain.
Yeah, that was it. That was the last time you danced.
That was the last time.
When did you see him for the last time?
At dinner at our choreographer's house. He was great in fixing spaghetti. Both Fred and I loved spaghetti. So he'd fix, being an Italian boy, he would fix a beautiful plate of spaghetti. And I was invited there to Hermes Pan's house, and we'd sit around and reminisce after dinner. And one time I said to him, "You know, Fred, I hear that you gave permission for some of the film that you've done here, that you and I have made together, you've given permission for Woody Allen to use that in one of his films. Did you do that? And he said, yes, I did. I said, Fred, did it ever occur to you should ask me to? I think I'm part of this team. At least the way I see it, I am.
And
I said, did you think I was your third leg?
what year was that, Ginger? About in the 80s?
No, this was in the 70s.
70s? And that was the last time you saw him?
Yeah.
He even got to say what dresses. He got to pass on the dresses you would wear.
Producers always pass on all dresses.
Well, but Fred Astaire?
Well, because he told them that he'd dance with a dress.
Oh. Did the feathers ever get in his nose?
Well, to see him imitate, he'd say, I can't stand having this on my tuxedo. And I promise you, if you see that movie, you won't see a feather. It's all, like a friend of mine did a lecture on fighting fish, and he said he had them in the window of a store, and everybody stood around and looked at the fighting fish. There were no fighting fish. Just water.
At one of the dance scenes, Fred Astaire's toupee flew off while they were... Now, the gentleman in your life, I was absolutely fascinated to find out there was a time when there were double dates.
Yeah.
So, who might be on a double date? Ginger Rogers with Lucy.
And Hank Fonda.
Henry Fonda.
Jimmy Stewart.
That's a nice foursome. Right, I guess they went to the best places, didn't they?
Yes, we went to Barney's Beanery.
Barney's Beanery. So much for glamour.
Yeah. But we went into, they took us up to their apartment. And in the kitchen...
You let the men take you to their apartment?
Oh, well, we were such good friends. We weren't, there was nothing mushy about our relationship. It was just straightforward, good-natured, brother and sister type of relationship. I know it doesn't read that way, but it is just
No, it's perfectly right. Ginger has dated some pretty spectacular men and had them in her life, among them George Gershwin. She was married 5 times. Jack Culpepper, alcoholism. Lou Ayres, the actor, 6 years. Jack Briggs, a Marine from San Diego, 5 years drinking problem. Jacques Bergerac, a lawyer from Biarritz, unfaithful. Yep. Bill Marshall, 9 years, an alcoholic. And in 1941, she made a movie called Tom, Dick, and Harry. Burgess Meredith played an auto mechanic who won her in the end. Now, let me tell you what she won't say. Burgess always wanted Ginger Rogers. The real Burgess wanted Ginger Rogers. And I think we should say something nice about him.
Well, he's a darling young man. But he thought that he would win me over, or try to anyway, and so he sent me candy. And so I opened this beautiful box of candy, and I took a piece that I would always take in chocolate and put it on my mouth. You couldn't get the teeth for it. It was fake candy.
Didn't do too well in winning Ginger Rogers. Burgess Meredith has something to say about you. Let's take a look.
All right, Tom, Dick, and Harry, and there's Ginger, and there's myself, and I miss those days, and I had a big crush on Ginger, my golly, and here's what I said about her. She never misses. She can change the scene completely if the director asks her. She will make it once, and then he'll tell her, and she'll make it a second time even better. She never misses, and we all adored her. But I'm glad I won her. I won her. Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I'm Harry, and I won her in the end. I wish I could have won her in life. God bless you.
I didn't know that. That's great.
It's not easy to get a man, even in this day and age, to admit that. I think it's kind of wonderful.
Precious. You know, after he sent me the candy, he sent me diamonds. I opened a beautiful box, and here was a whole row of diamonds on a string, you know, fake diamonds.
As I said, he doesn't have a way. More with Cynthia Raffe in the meeting now. Special surprise. You don't want to miss this show. It's our anniversary show. Don't go away.
He says I'm a great tragic actress. Wasted in musical comedy.
You a tragic actress? I'm glad you told me. Now I know he's a complete imbecile. Well,
Oh, he's not such an imbecile as all that. After all, before I really went into the theater, in high school, I played Juliet.
I can't let Ginger Rogers go without finishing the Burgess Meredith story.
Yes,
Fake chocolate, fake diamonds,
and fake pearls.
no.
Yeah, big pearls, that big, on the string. And he had them all wrapped up so beautifully. And then I opened a big box of flakes. I didn't know what could be in that, but it did say, woo.
Woo.
Woo. The Burgess was wooing me again. And I opened it. It was beautifully wrapped too. And we opened it, and it was a fur coat, fake. Then Sally, one morning I looked outside my window, from my kitchen window. I could see the drive as you came up my house. You could drive your car up under the kitchen window. I looked under the kitchen window, and there was a beautiful little Ford, red, white, and blue. It said, Car Woo. He was so cute. He was the cutest person.
Did the car run?
Oh, yeah. I called the studio, and I said, open the doors, because when I get to the studio, I'm driving in my new car. It was red, white, and blue.
The Ginger was also went out with Cary Grant and received a diamond from a man who was after her for 3 years, Howard Hughes. Did you give the diamond back?
Well, it wasn't a diamond, it was a green emerald.
Did you give it back?
I certainly did. I gave it and all the other little doodads.
Because he gave you that? We could have lived off that.
Yeah, I know it could. Oh.
Ginger Rogers won an Academy Award in 1940 for her dramatic role in Kitty Foyle. When you saw that, where she said, I can be a good actress, I don't just have to sing and dance. On one December night, 1940, you went to a Broadway show. The show was Pal Joey. There was a young man in the chorus, and he kind of caught your eye.
Yeah, I thought he was quite attractive. I thought he'd be good in movies.
Really? Just from someone in the chorus?
Yes.
Why, what did he have?
Well, he had style, and he knew how to dance well, and his singing voice sounded very nice. So I suggested to my agent at that time, Leland Hayward, I said, there's a young man in this show, and I want you to come and say, I've seen the show. He said, I didn't see anybody that had any qualities at all. So he said, if I had, I would have signed him. I said, you've got to come with me. Let me point this one out. So we went to the show again. And he said, that fellow, he's a chorus boy. There'll always be a chorus boy. I said, you don't know what you're looking at, kiddo. This could be a star. said, you know what they'll say about you if this young man signs into a contract. They'd say he's your lover or something. I said, well, you and I could prove that's not true, because if he went with me, we could share this contract. He wouldn't be loving you, would he? And so...
Ginger, how many years has it been since you've seen that young man with the red hair?
That young man was Van Johnson.
And how many years has it been?
Oh,
You and I were supposed to spend a weekend at the Waldorf together, but you went with Walter Pidgeon and I went with Lana Crown.
Dad! My goodness, welcome, Van Johnson!
hello, sweetheart. Hello, sweetheart. Hello, sweetheart. How are you, Angel?
Oh, I feel like Pee Wee Herman. Isn't that right? Oh, these are for you.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were wearing these in your
I was
lapel.
going to cover my belly so you couldn't see. How are you, Miss Raphael?
Fine, sir. Could you tell me about this woman?
What?
Could you tell me about this woman?
Oh,
Chance to get back?
well, I start. Ginger was the first movie star I ever met. I was a HAP in Pal Joey. What's an HAP van? Half-ass principal. I warned you about putting me on this show. Anyway, I was always movie star struck, and when the overture was on in Pal Joey, I'd go out and look through the peephole through the asbestos, and there was Ginger Rogers sitting in that hole, blonde with a turban on. And little did I know the important part she was going to play in my life. Well, later I got to Hollywood, and you know that you and I went to Liz Taylor's first wedding?
I know.
No! Is that true?
Yes.
Liz Taylor's first wedding the two of you went to?
Yes. And Ginger wore a great big black sombrero with a cabbage rose up to here. I said, you look just like Pancho Villa. See, I'm full of these. So I called her Pancho ever since.
That's right.
And we ever communicate. She always finds herself Pancho.
Oh.
That's the end of that story.
If he sees you at a very important restaurant, he'll say, "Hi, Pancho!" And I said, "That's Van over there." He said, "Doesn't he know he should yell in this restaurant?" Tell him about it.
Really? Well, I was deaf then. Probably thought I was Van Heflin.
Who did she marry the first time, Elizabeth Taylor? Do we
First
remember?
wedding to Nicky Hilton.
Nicky Hilton.
Yes. So we continue on that subject?
No, I just wondered.
We're going to be here another hour.
What did you think of this last one?
What year?
What did you think of the last wedding?
Oh, I was invited, but I couldn't get caught up with that bunch.
Really?
Yeah. I said to her wedding presents in Tiffany's, I said, Elizabeth, this is the last wedding present you're going to get.
Yes, that's cute. In 1937, Ginger made a picture called Stage Door with Katharine Hepburn. In that movie, there was an actress named Ann Miller. Ann Miller. Was she too tall, Ann Miller?
He still is.
She hasn't gotten any shorter,
No,
right?
no.
Do you get along with her?
Very well. She's a darling girl.
Loves Annie.
Everybody loves Annie.
She couldn't be with us today, but she sent something for you and Van. It's a taped message. Can we please take a look?
Ginger, do you remember when Greg LaCava, a great director, was auditioning girls to dance with you at RKO? Well, I was a newcomer on the lot. And I remember that I rushed up the stairs, ran into his office. I had never met him before. I was scared to death, and I had no idea you were going to be there. And I looked at him, and I said, "Oh, Mr. LaCava," I said, "I'm so thrilled." I said, "This is my idol. Miss Rogers is my idol." And I said, "I want to dance with her so bad." And he looked at me, and he said, "Well, Annie, I think you're too tall." My heart just broke. And I looked at Miss Rogers, and I said, "Oh, Miss Rogers, please Don't you think that if you wore a higher hat and maybe some, higher heels, and I could wear a lower hat and lower heels, that it would all work out? And she looked at me and she grinned and she said, Annie, are you a Texan? And I said, yes. And she said, okay, String Bean, you've got the job. And I've had quite a career since then. And you're still my idol. There's nobody like you, Ginger.
Thank you, Annie. Ben Johnson and Ginger Rogers. Very sweet. You'll be back in a minute. Very sweet. Very sweet.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart is so that I can hardly.
Ginger Rogers and Van Johnson. Van says he was starstruck. The first movie star whose home you were ever in?
Cynthia Rogers. And I finally got to meet her up at the top of the hill. You never should have stole that joint.
No, I didn't.
I haven't finished, Miss Raphael.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
The retaining wall alone was $75,000. You know what you get for that house today? They want me to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
So it's the first movie star's home I was in, and I went up there at night. What else? This is before the Waldorf. And she was playing tennis, and the lights were on. And I had never seen an outdoor tennis court in somebody's home. And you had black hair. You were playing Roxy Hart or Dixie Dugan or something. Anyway, play with that one for a minute. So then she finished the set, and she said, come on inside. I'll make you a banana split. I said, what is that? So I just finished a groaning dinner with Jason. And we went into this beautiful house, down the stairs, into this fabulous playroom, and there was a soda fountain.
In a home?
Where else? In the toilet? Yes. I need another haircut. Thanks, Maddie. What are all these hands
No,
up
they
for?
want to talk to you desperately. That's the way it works.
Hello. I have to tell you that I have enjoyed you for years and years, and I also would like to know, do you have any children with any of your husbands? Did you have any children?
No, I did not.
No, hit all that, please.
No. The children's story was for her, not you. Yes, I know.
Downside, though.
Ginger, are there any regrets about not having children? Any regrets at all?
No, none.
Van?
Mr. Johnson, please, 18 stars.
Mr. Johnson,
Who saved
sir?
his money, yes.
Yes, sir.
What is it, Miss Sally?
Yes, sir.
Did you call me?
No.
Oh.
Question.
Yes, Ginger. I was wondering, of all the things you've done in your lifetime, is there something that you have not accomplished that you would like to do?
Of course, there are quite a lot of things. I want to paint, and do some very important paintings. And I've done some, but not really.
You know, the audience may not know that Van paints also.
I know he does.
Right? Both of them have that very much in common. That you both paint.
Yes, we paint. We're going to do a two-man show. Well, one I'm not sure of. Down in Palm Springs. Sure, let me finish.
It is such a pleasure meeting both of you. I want to know how old were you when you started dancing, and how long was your experience, your dance experience?
I started dancing when I was 14, theatrically. And then I've been dancing ever since.
All of your life.
That's right.
Sir?
Well, first of all, I wanted to let you know that you guys have left an impression with all of your movies and your work that has gone down from generation to generation, because I'm just like 1973, but still I appreciate your work, and I just wanted to let you know.
Well, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to ask you was, Ginger, who were some of your dance influences? Like, were you into like Bojangles and stuff like that? Who influenced you as a dancer? Because you've influenced a lot of people.
Well, there were dancers in the
Talking to you or me?
Talking to me.
I'm not only deaf, I'm blind.
I'll let Ginger answer
Good
that.
afternoon, Helen Keller and Johnny Belinda.
And before you leave, I want to mention that you have, besides the art show in Palm Beach, there's a one-man show called The Best of Times, Musical Odyssey, and I want to go. When can we see that?
Well, I'm putting together the one-man show now. Eat your heart out, Ginger. I'm putting the book on the stage, you see. That's going to be, because I'm too lazy to go to the typewriter like Kitty Foyle.
I'd love
the Oscar for that.
I know.
And we're going to break it in out of town a bit. All film clips and numbers I've done with dancers like Lucille Ball and Annie Miller. I'm lucky enough to dance with Ginger, only at the Waldorf.
You two were in a movie, though, with Katharine Hepburn, correct?
Kate Hepburn, yeah, that was in
State
State of the Union we did together. And then she did stage.
We could go on and on with that.
I was just here, he's an MGM.
And do the paintings, do you have art exhibits where people buy the paintings? That's what they're asking.
Yeah.
What? Do you sell those things?
You sell them?
Hell, I sell anything.
We want to thank you for dropping by. When we come back, a special treat. Fashion, the most glamorous clothes you've ever seen. Some old, some new. Inspired by the style of Miss Ginger Rogers. Don't go away.
Let's face the music and dance.
It's time to take a look at some fashions inspired by the queen of glamour and elegance, Ginger Rogers. And here to help us out is our own, who does our show, our own fashion stylist, Cynthia Raffe. Please welcome her.
Hello, how are you? Good to be here. Good to be here. I just want to say what an honor it is to be here. Sally and I have a lot of fun doing these kind of things. And I have to also say what, as a fashion person, as an editor and who studied fashion, you made a tremendous influence on fashion. Not only on fashion, but everyone wants to be glamorous, and you are the first lady of glamour in our eyes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would like to take you back in time and spark some memories. We pulled together some looks from the 30s to the 40s. And I'd like to also tell you that, no pun intended, our help from dancers from the Fred Astaire Dance Studio in New York and New Jersey.
You'll wonder why.
And that I also tell you that we incorporated your style with wigs from Look of Love International. So coming out, couple number one. Miss Rogers, I think you'll understand that this dress kind of reminds me of Gay Divorcee. The glamour, no one moved like you. The fit was just so elegant. You had a way of showing what glamour really is. I love this for its wonderful chiffon, and nobody can create this but Treveya, who is very well known for you and worked on many of your shows. He's just the epitome of glamour in designing fashions for you. Thank you so much. Couple number two, again by Treveya. This is reminiscent of the 40s. Now, does this take you back with flying down to Rio a little bit, Miss Rogers? Because, again, form fit is what she's famous for. The chiffon, the glamour. And what I love about this is the designer, Teri, he must have been a special designer for you, because not only can he do such glamorous dresses, but he has a way of making them not look like costumes. I mean, we would all like to wear these dresses when we go ball dancing. And I think it's wonderful. Thank you. You look marvelous. Couple number three. Take us back to the 30s a little bit with this wonderful dress by Stepping Out in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Your stopping ground, Sally. It's wonderful with red beaded sequins, but I think you'll go back in time with me how you love the flames in the bottom. You love when you dance. It just fluted out like that. It's true epitome of glamour again. Again, Stepping Out has wonderful gowns, and they truly have the epitome of glamour here. Thank you. Couple number four. Bring us to the 70s with this wonderful dress by, again, Treveya. Is she just a spectacular designer? Again, you really knew how to show sexiness with not exposing a lot. And I think that takes a lot of guts to be able to be sexy but not expose a lot of skin. And I think you will also agree with me, Ms. Rogers, that when you were fashion coordinator at JCPenney, that I found it very interesting in your book. I was telling Sally today how you design lingerie. And I think it's very important to say that the undergarment is as important as the outer garments to make you give attitude and style. So I'd like to thank Silk Reflection from Hanes and our sponsor for shoes, Penny, to help us give that attitude in our costumes today. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to bring you up to the current styles. not only did you influence dancers, but you influenced people who love to dance. And I think that's important. Whenever Sally and I want to go to a ballroom dance, we're going to think about how Ginger Rogers dressed. And I think this is a little flirty and a little racier than you might have done, maybe more in your vaudeville days. But again, this wonderful, this dress is by Michael Casey. And again, I don't have to say anymore. You loved ostrich feathers, and that says it all right there. Thank you so much. Couple number 6. This incredibly orange chiffon gown by Maribel Garcia, a new designer that really honors you in the way that you sit and you flair. The glamour, the elegance. Shall I say any more? Sally, let's go get it.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Thank you. Couple number 7. Again, when I think of Ginger Rogers, Sally, I think of this dress. The fluidity, the glamour, but look how they move. Nobody, again, moves like you. And again, these dresses, with their fluidity, gave you that certain appeal where all women, when they dance, they want to have that appeal. Thank you very much. And last, but certainly not least, is this wonderful gown by Mignon. Now, Mignon also did Sally and our gowns, and I tried to incorporate a look to get you back into the era. And I have to tell you, Miss Rogers, Sally, if we had to dress up like this all the time, you really went to a lot of work with all the glamour and all. But the curls and the lipstick and the chiffon and the feathers, it really took a certain woman to carry that type of fabric. Thank you so much for bringing such glamour to fashion. I had a real... Thank you.
Cynthia Raffe, our own stylist. More with Ginger Rogers when we return. I think it's important to be said that Lucille never received a residual payment, not one penny, from the worldwide exhibition of the films, and Fred Astaire didn't get any money from that either, did he?
No.
None. So they show all those movies,
Yeah.
and they show them, and you do not make the money from those movies.
No, ma'am. Not one.
Do you find that as appalling as when we wanted to show a clip, they wanted $4,000 to show the clip for 10 seconds. So, and we didn't, obviously, we have to thank the one clip we could get.
Miss Rogers, I'd like to know, in your time to dance as wonderful as you do, did you have any special instructors, or was it just an automatic thing that you love dancing?
Yes, I promised we'd get back to who helped you.
Well, I just learned to dance by automatically. My stepfather played the piano by ear, and I guess that I danced by ear.
You did it on your own. Quick question, last one.
Hi, Ginger. You're my favorite director. When are you going to direct again?
Oh, thank you, darling. I thought I recognized you. I thought you'd had your hair cut.
And you are?
Tim Morgan. We staged in arms together.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Take a break. We'll be right back.
The way you wear your hat.
For a transcript of this program, send $3 to Sally Jessy Raphael Transcript, 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203. Or call 303-831-9000.
This is the book that I recommended and still do, and these are Ginger Roger roses. That's the name of them, and no, they are not phony. Thank you. I love you.
Some members of our audience will receive, and a promotional fee has been provided by...
Who says you can't have it all? All the styles you'd ever want. All the comfort you'd ever need. All in the feminine style collection from Fruit of the Loom.